Mzwanele Manyi has left the ANC to find a new political home at the African Transformation Movement. Manyi says he's leaving the governing party because of the ANC's inability to tackle issues of transformation. He has thanked the ANC, though, for their service to the country, but said it's time for younger, fresher, and yes, uncaptured blood to take over. eNCA's Govan Whittles has been tracking that story and joins us now. Before I get to what he actually said at that media briefing, just take us through, if you will, his demeanor while sitting there among these people he hasn't really spent a great deal of time with, and who was in that room.
Right, so within the room, it was basically a whole lot of representatives of different churches, NGO groups, but you're right, it's people that Mzwanele Manyi hadn't spent a lot of time with before, and it's people that he is just learning about now. He himself admitted that he was looking around to form a new political party and was in fact in the process of doing so. As early as the 19th of December, he was still considering whether or not to form his own political party. And then he said a respected friend of his introduced him to the ATM. And from what I saw today, the ATM couldn't look happier to have Mzwanele Manyi among their members. So they've catapulted him straight into the NEC. They've given him the position of policy, head of policy and strategy, and they're certainly welcoming him with open arms. And he, of course, seems to be embracing the policy positions of the ATM, which is by and large an organization that's founded on the church's principles and Christianity, though they're saying that they're trying to appeal to a broader population base. Some of these policies, of course, is the reintroduction of the death penalty. Manyi doesn't want to call it that, but he's saying that they want killers to be killed, and that would be the first ever reintroduction of the death penalty, and then forcing South Africa's inmates to work for free instead of the 5 cents, 7 cents an hour that they're currently being paid. He doesn't see any problem with that. And it seems as if the ATM is all too happy to have him.
But did he give any clear indication as to why, notwithstanding what you said, that the friend, whispered in his ear or sort of persuaded him to join this particular party as opposed to others? But did it tell from a personal point of view? Because obviously this guy's launched last year, so he has joined a moving bus, so to speak. By the time he joined, they'd already set out a whole document that's almost, I don't know what, 30 pages or so about who they are and what they want to do. But did he give any indication as to what it is that persuaded him personally to choose these guys over anybody else?
I did press him on the issue, and two things became evident. The first is that Mzwanele Manyi shares a lot in common with the ATM due to their background in the church. Him, of course, an avid member of the Bantu Church of Christ. He also said some of the similarities is he believes that all the people in the ATM leadership are clean, they don't smoke or drink and are not part of corruption. He says he believes they're honorable people because they come from the church. But what the most important point is that this organization has been endorsed by the South African Council of Messianic Churches of Christ, and that boasts a population of more than 2 million in South Africa at the moment. And these churches have given the endorsement to the ATM not only to be formed, but they've told the ATM leaders to go out there and by name find people like Mzwanele Manyi and bring them into the leadership. And Mzwanele Manyi calls it the critical mass, which the ATM already has. He's depending on the fact that these churches may have more than 2 million, more than 3 million members, and therefore could attract such support at the polls. But Bravuya, I have to say that immediately after the ATM was launched and Mzwanele Manyi's presser finished, I received a message from the All African Decolonization Congress. And this was the party that Manyi had intended to form. And his entire reason for going overseas to see the Gupta family to try and raise money was to give it to this AADC. And the AADC has now sent out a press statement saying that they are summarily dismissing Mzwanele Manyi from a party that he intended to form, but also claiming that the policies of the ATM are the same policies that they helped Manyi draft. So it seems this is a case of Mzwanele Manyi preparing preparing to launch his own party, then realizing there's another option there, and taking the work that he's done at the AADC to the ATM, but now he's left more than 20 members of the All-African Decolonization Congress wondering what's happening. In fact, it's so confusing that some of them showed up to the press conference to check whether or not he isn't launching the party that they had been preparing for. So there are a lot of people that have been disappointed. There are a lot of people that are celebrating because Manyi has joined them. And then there's Mzwanele Manyi, confident that this party would be able to attract support from the ANC's traditional base.
Of course, I mean, he also says, or continues to say, he remains passionate about transformation, because that's what he has been about for more than a decade now. Of course, as also, I mean, a former president of, the Black Management Forum. How does he intend pursuing that within this new home, and of course being part of a very disparate group that we are yet to see what it is exactly that binds them together, but transformation is the one thing he has said is passionate about. How does he intend pursuing that within this party?
Well, he's going off of the ATM's promise that they intend taking over from the ANC after the elections. You mentioned that he was in the Black Management Forum. He's confirmed that he's resigned from the Progressive Professionals Forum, allied to the ANC, but he does say that he intends on pursuing the same topics which he tried to implement while he was in the ANC. Let's have a look at what he said about why he left the ANC, and it is about transformation. Essentially, he was looking back at 2018 and saying he couldn't take it anymore last year. Let's have a look.
I think for me, 2018 was the straw that broke the camel's back. To put it mildly, 2018 was the most disastrous year in the transformation project of this country under the watch of the African National Congress. In fact, in 2018, transformation was not only going backwards, was not only in reverse gear, but in fact we had made a U-turn and we were driving back. That's how bad it was. So what are the facts? The state-owned enterprises, fact number one, the state-owned enterprises have become a slaughterhouse for black executives under the guise of cleanup.
Interesting. 2018 for Jimmy Manyi, the year that broke the camel's back, showing regression. 2018 for many people is the year the governing party finally showed up and began to do the things that the country has been asking them to do. But that's where we're going to leave it. Govan Whittles, who of course attended that media briefing where Mzwanele Manyi, the former CEO of GCIS and a former member of the ANC, announced that he is joining a new home, the ATM. We will be speaking to the president of the ATM a little after 7 o'clock.